Well, Erin, headlining a New Jersey show, potential title eliminator in front of a full crowd in Atlantic City. How long has this been something that you've dreamed of, a scenario like this, and how excited are you to be here?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I haven't been back to Atlantic City since my pro debut, so it's really cool to be able to come back, be headlining a UFC card here. I couldn't be more excited.
I know you fought at Madison Square Garden before, obviously. Which one is more of a home game for you, for people that aren't from around here? Is this kind of the one that you'll hold closest to you, or was the MSG the one?
I feel like this one is going to be, just because it's my home state, and I know the whole crowd will be on my side. MSG was always somewhere I wanted to fight, and it's just an iconic arena, so I'm really grateful I was able to do that. But obviously everything around it definitely wasn't on my side, so I'm excited to have the crowd on my side this time.
I know the division's kind of in a weird place right now, a bit of a logjam at the top, but how confident are you that this fight will be a title eliminator against Manon?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely should be. I mean, I'm number 2, she's number 3. I feel like the only 2 girls ahead of us are the girls that have been fighting for the title. So when I win Saturday, I feel like I'm definitely a lock for the title.
And I guess what are your feelings about the division, right? Because it seemed like you were maybe lined up to be the next one, and then Alexa and Valentina fight to a draw, and then they're coaching the Ultimate Fighter. So has that been frustrating at all for you, or is it just kind of something you take in stride?
No, I wouldn't say frustrating. I mean, I think you could definitely argue this is like my 3rd number 1 contender fight. But, I mean, I'm just gaining experience every time. I'm 24 years old, fighting super tough girls. I feel like I'm getting so much better from it. And when I do get that title shot and win that championship, I'll definitely be a champ.
And you've had plenty of time now. I think after you and Manon won a few months ago, it seemed like a lot of people thought this was going to be a real possibility. She's been somebody that's been on your radar for a little while. Now that you've had the chance to study her, I guess kind of what are your thoughts about her as an opponent? I guess how good is she? What kind of challenge are you up against?
Yeah, I feel like everybody in the top 5 is obviously very talented. You had to win to get there, and our records are very similar. She's long and rangy. I've had months to strategize for that, and I feel super prepared for this fight, and I'm excited to show it off Saturday.
She was in here a little while ago, and she kind of said that she felt like she's maybe fought tougher opponents than you already. I guess where do you feel like she's stacks up in terms of the fighters you've fought? Is she your toughest test to date?
I don't know. I feel like every fight is obviously super tough. Everybody in the top 5 is super tough. I know we both beat former champions, and my last fight against Talia Santos, somebody people felt beat Valentina. I feel like we both had tough fights. I feel like mine's maybe even a little bit tougher. I don't know. I don't think she'd necessarily be the toughest. I feel like everybody's tough in their own way.
Yeah, and do you view this, I think a lot of people kind of see this as like a striker versus grappler sort of thing. Do you feel like it's that simple, or do you think that maybe you could surprise people a little bit with your striking on Saturday?
I think I definitely surprise people. I don't think it's ever that simple. It's MMA. We all train everything. So I think you're definitely going to see all our skill sets Saturday.
Thanks.
Erin, over here. So, obviously you got to wait out a little bit for Grasso and Shevchenko on tough. Is that something you're interested? Are you willing to wait for them to be finished fighting? How long would you wait for?
Obviously I haven't thought about it too much. I've been super focused on Saturday, and, I know staying focused on that and winning will lead to everything else that I want. I definitely would rather stay active, so I don't really know what's going to happen with that, but I'd rather stay active.
Furo said maybe instead of, waiting that long, an interim fight with Rose or with Macy Barber. Is that something that could be of interest in the meantime?
Yeah, I definitely would like to fight for an interim belt. I feel like this fight Saturday could even be for an interim belt with how long it's taken Alexa and Valentina to fight for the 3rd time. So I think that'd definitely be a possibility.
How do you see that 3rd fight playing out between them?
I don't really know. I feel like they're so close skill-wise, and now that they're kind of comfortable fighting each other, I feel like it almost makes it harder. They're both going to have to strategize differently, so I can see either girl winning.
And then last one from me. Outside of fighting, I see you've been doing some commentary with Fury Grappling. How do you like that? Is that something you could see in the future for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely loved commentating for Fury Grappling. It's something I've wanted to get into. I studied it a little bit in school, and it's fun to actually get in there and do it, so I definitely have to do that more.
Hey, Erin, right here behind. Most people see you just as a grappler, but in your last few fights, you've been going against primarily people who do like to stand up and trade with their hands. So assuming your game plan has been focused on that style of the MMA, just how much do you think you've improved since you got into the UFC stand-up?
Yeah, I feel like my striking is always improving, as well as every aspect of my game. I'm always working on it, and I'm always being tested with it. I mean, every fight starts standing, so I have to strike and I have to improve on it. So I feel like I'm definitely growing in it, and every fight I keep on growing.
And we see Fatima over here. Just how beneficial is it to have a training partner like that, and how has it been just showing different looks with each other?
Oh yeah, it's great having Fatima to train. You know, she's long and rangy too, so she's been able to help me with that. Yeah, and she's an amazing fighter. She's been able to help push me in camp.
And then also a question not really related to the fight. You growing up in New Jersey, have you noticed kind of a more prominent growth with like women's wrestling? I know you train at Cordoba, and there's a lot of girls that train there. NJCU has a wrestling team. Have you kind of noticed any significant growth?
Oh yeah, I can definitely see it at Cordoba Train Wrestling. Like Dave puts in a lot of effort to like grow the girls teams there, and he has so many girls, and I feel like the sport in general grow, and he's definitely been helping that grow in New Jersey, and it's awesome to see.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask you one more. Could I get your thoughts on the recent fights in your division? How did you think Macy Barber looked in her fight, and then Rose last weekend?
Yeah, I thought the Macy and Caitlin fight was definitely close, as well as the Rose and Rebus. I definitely thought Macy won. She definitely edged it out a little bit with the takedowns. I mean, Caitlin was holding her own, but definitely didn't do enough for the win. And Rose and Rebus, that fight was actually closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought Rose was definitely going to have a really big advantage in the striking, but Rebus definitely held her own. I think Rose held a little bit more control when it did go to the ground, and she was able to reverse any of like Rebus's like takedowns, which was impressive. But they were all close fights, I think.
Erin, welcome to Atlantic City. Just real quick, where do you see yourself? I know you're focused on Saturday and what you're doing right now. Where do you see yourself 3 years out?
3 years from now, definitely the champion by then, and a couple defenses under my belt.